cases, like Paul McCartney, he does the whole batch. He does it all himself.
Mm-hmm.
And like I do the same thing, and you know.
Is there a song from the new album that you can kind of go backwards with? In other words, we now know it as the finished track as it appears on Brian Wilson, your solo album. Is there one of the tracks that you can take back to its earliest stage, where the idea came from and how you executed the idea? What comes to mind?
California Girls. I had an idea to start like this, you know. And then the idea of taking an intro, a slow intro, and bringing it right into the song with tempo, you know. We did that. We thought of that, and that was a really successful record too.
Oh, sure, absolutely. But I'm looking for one from the new record. In other words, when you had it in your mind, okay, I'm going to do my first solo album, and I've got a number of directions to go. I've got all these possibilities. How did you start zeroing in on songs that you wanted to include on that record? Is there one that you can remember the very beginnings of?
Just like these chords here. And I had like da 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 da. Do 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 do. That kind of an idea. A love song, a pretty, like a spiritual kind of a feeling, you know?
But no lyrics at that point.
No.
That came
later.
At what point? At what point in the process?
About a month later.
Did you have all of the chords and the changes? Did you have the track done at that point?
No, we did not have the track done when it was done. The track was recorded about 2 weeks after we wrote that song in Honolulu, Hawaii. And it was one of the greatest tracks I'd ever done. I also put on the background voices. See, when I was with the Beach Boys, and I still am in a sense, each of us would have a note, right? You know, and like there'd be 5 notes in a chord for us, because there's 5 Beach Boys, right?
Right.
Well, when I went to Honolulu, I put on all 4 voices by myself, all one track at a time, all of Brian Wilson's voices.
Well, it's again, that relates to the different method of recording these days versus when you did it live with 5 people in the room, you know. It's a totally different technology. We heard the finished version of Love and Mercy earlier. Is there any way that you could put together for us a more basic version of just piano and your voice? Do you feel like doing that?
What's that?
Would you be able to do Love and Mercy as just a piano and voice piece for us? It's up to you.
I can't do it.
Because, that's okay with me. I just want to know.
It's because it was all done in the studio, and I never really learned it all at once.
Oh, I see.
So we learned it one by one, so in that way. And a piano, of course, cannot do what an arrangement can.
Oh, sure. But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you get an insight into a song.
Yes.
When it's done in a rearranged fashion. For example, Bruce Springsteen on his current tour is doing Born to Run, which we all know as like a big sound, Phil Spector-type wall of sound. He's just doing it alone with an acoustic guitar, and it gives the song a whole new dimension, a whole new meaning. In fact, you did that once. Let me remind you of something that really impressed me and see if we can...
Okay.
This had to be 1967, when just at the point where rock and roll was starting to be considered as a more serious type of music than just hit records in the top 40. And no less a presence than Leonard Bernstein did a special on CBS examining the new music. And he had as guests on that program the Blues Project, and they did their beautiful instrumental piece flute thing. And he had Janice Ian on, and she did Society's Child. And he also had Brian Wilson on at a piano playing a little bit of Surf's Up. Do you remember that? Is that song?
Somewhat, yes.
Is that song still a special one for you?
Oh, very much. Me and Van Dyke Parks wrote that.
Yeah.
Absolutely special.
Do you recall enough of the lyrics to do any part of it for
I
us?
couldn't. No, I don't. I don't recall those lyrics.
Okay.
It's a long time ago.
Sure, I can understand that. Well,
22 years ago, to be exact.
oh, exactly. Sure. But that's an example of what I meant, though. Everybody knows the finished version as it came out in '71. Then there's also, for the lucky people who get the chance to see it, there's also that very, shall we call it, primitive version of it with just you alone at your piano on that special.
Yes, I remember that. Yes,
Yeah.
of course. I remember that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me give you another example of how
Please.
a song is created.
Absolutely. I'm going to climb up here and watch.
I think that, you have. That's a bag, right? That's
Right.
called a bag. So then I come into like, Mary, honey, how long it's been, I don't know, that kind of thing.
Right.
Where you get a simple melody. The songs that are the simplest go the farthest. You know?
Ah.
The ones that are really simple and direct and to the point,
Uh-huh.
with gumption, a little gumption in them, are the ones that go the farthest. Believe me, I know what I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah.
Because like the Stones, with Satisfaction, that was right down to the beat. It was right to the point. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I
Sure.
can't get no satisfaction. Like that. It's just there's a feeling behind that. A gut response you get.
Do you determine, at what point do you determine whether the song is going to be lighthearted and upbeat, or a love ballad, or slow and a little bit serious? In other words, do you sit down and say, this is the kind of ultimate product I want to wind up with, or do you just let it flow out more naturally than that?
I let it flow out a little more naturally. You say to yourself, I have a basic feeling about this song, right?
Yeah.
A basic feeling, a gut feeling. And the trick of an ingenious songwriter is to get a song similar to what he felt when he first conceived of it. You know what I mean? That's the idea. In other words, you have God gives you this. It's like a gift. He gives you the gift of you being able to feel something, feel this overall feeling,
Yeah.
And then when you convert it into music, that's the creative process. But it starts up here somewhere in your brain. It starts as a feeling, as an idea, as a feeling. You know what I mean?
Are you writing all of the time? Are you writing right now?
Well, pretty much so. Not all the time, but pretty much steadily throughout 1 month's time. I might sit down at the piano maybe 10, 20 times.
Uh-huh. Let's try one last experiment in this area, and then we'll move on to some other questions. Boy, our time is running out fast. But if I gave you an idea, I mean, this happens sometimes when composers are asked to write songs for a movie. You have to watch a scene, and they say, we want a song that goes with that scene. You have to kind of write a song to order. If I gave you the idea, if I said to you, Brian, gee, what I'd really like to hear from you sometime in the future is a song about radio and what radio has meant to you, what hearing your music on the radio has meant to you. How would you go about translating that into a feeling or a bag, as you described it earlier? Is there any way? What does that, going from your brain to your fingers on the piano, what does a song about radio suggest to you that you might want to take a stab at this morning?
A song about radio?
Yeah.
Radio. I got the radio blues. I got the radio blues. Something like that.
All right, I hope I haven't given you the radio blues.
No, I got it.
I must say, again, that I'm delighted that you were willing to go along with this crazy little experiment this morning. And, at any point, if another thought occurs to you that you'd like to express musically as opposed to verbally, please take the opportunity. But let me ask you a couple of other things before we wrap up here at 9 minutes before 11 o'clock on WNEW-FM in New York. We started out when you arrived here with that list of Rolling Stones choices for the top 100 singles of the last 25 years. If you were going to put a jukebox in your house, I don't know if you have one or not, but if you were going to put a jukebox in there and it was totally up to you what records should be in it, by yourself or by other people, what would you say, 5 or 6 selections that you say have to be in there, that if that's going to be my jukebox and the things I want to hear, these are the half a dozen songs I want in there? What comes to mind?
MacArthur's Park, which I thought was great.
The Jim
My Baby by the Ronettes. To Do Ron Ron by the Crystals. Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
And, let's see, what other ones? Spooky by the Classics 4. I thought that was a great record.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
That's a very interesting list. I'm glad I asked you that question. We'll put all of those together for you as a gift from me. How does that sound?
All right.
Okay. You personally and the Beach Boys as a group have been honored in many, many ways over the years. Awards and special anniversary celebrations, all of that. Which ones of those mean something to you, really mean something to you? Which honors that you've received touched you?
The Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame. Now that was
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That was quite a night. Again, as the theme of this show seems to be that life has its good moments and its bad moments. There were both of those that night as well. But tell me what you remember about the night you were inducted.
Well, we all went up there and I read a speech, but when Mike Love started chopping down Mick Jagger, I couldn't believe it, man. I could not believe that he could even get in a bag like that. He would let himself get that load of, just for a little attention, he goes and says, Rolling Stones will play some blues together. I don't know. I can't understand that. Sometimes he's a little crazy.
It was unnecessary.
Yes.
It was unnecessary. I want to talk more about the positive part of it.
All right.
Can you recall how you felt that night about this honor?
Can I what? Can I recall it?
Can you remember your feelings?
Sure. I was a little scared. I said, I'm scared here to read this speech, and I was. And I was like a real like long speech, like a page and a half, and like I felt so. See, Mike Love took the microphone and changed the position, like right in the middle of my speech, and I thought, how rude,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just it was something that I did out of love, my love of my heart for people, because I figured, if we're going to get inducted in the Hall of Fame, we might as well just appreciate it,
Sure. There were some heavyweight people in that room that evening. You were certainly one of them. Who did you most enjoy seeing and maybe speaking to and spending time with at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
No one in particular, Pete.
Oh.
Nobody in particular. I just enjoyed that night very much.
Sure. And you will be at others, I suspect, as we go along.
Thank you.
No doubt about that. Let's look at the clock on the wall here. It's 5 minutes to 11 o'clock. I want to figure out the best way to spend our last 5 minutes together. One of them is certainly to ask you what you intend to do as far as live performance is concerned. You've got a whole body of new music that people should hear, not only on records, but on the concert stage. Is that part of your plans as well, Brian?
Yes. What I want to do is, I would like to get a show together that gives an energy and a love off to people,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can appreciate why we're here. See, I want to appreciate why I'm here. And it's, to go out and make this music, for people on stage. It thrills me to think that I could do that in the first place,
Sure.
And we're heading toward December. We think a little bit December or shortly afterwards we'll be on the road.
How will you choose your backup vocalists. I assume there will be other vocalists and
Yes.
and musicians.
Those, they will be handpicked by Dr. Lenny and myself. And we should be able to come up with something very full and resonant and beautiful.
Hmm. The Beach Boys have always been your support team.
Right.
There's a difference between being part of a group and a group identity and going out solo, going out under your own name. Is it a little scary to you?
Scary, that's not the word for it. I'm scared, man. I mean, you know, it's going to be hard work, you know. And standing up there just kind of like doing my show is going to be like a real, kind of like a shocking kind of thing. You know, any new venture takes a couple times, you know. Any venture or any project takes a few minutes to get adjusted to it, you know, the first part of it. And then you're sailing, you know.
Your brother Dennis
Yes.
once made the incredibly perceptive remark, Brian Wilson is the Beach Boys. We are his messengers. What do you miss most about Dennis?
I miss his enthusiasm. He's very enthusiastic about things. He really had a lot of enthusiasm inside of him.
Have you learned anything from that tragedy in your life?
Just more about the idea that he did not know no heavy drugs, you know?
Yeah.
No drugs.
That's certainly a good lesson to take from it.
Yes.
And I wish you good health in the future, creativity in whatever areas you choose to express it, hopefully a lot more albums and a lot more records.
Thank you.
And I want to close and ask you about one last piece from your solo album, which is the one entitled One for the Boys.
Yes, that one was done as a tribute to the Beach Boys, and it was done in a studio, but it went flat. Some of my notes went flat, so we corrected those notes, and then I did it again, overdubbed again, and then we corrected some of the mistakes. And there we were with One for the Boys.
Without words, it speaks volumes, I think, about Brian Wilson and about the group.
Our voices and so on, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Just on the level of the sound of it. You know?
Yeah.
You don't have to use words in that. Hey, remember what we were saying earlier about finding new ways to say I love you?
Yes.
I think you found one when you wrote this track. Let's listen at 1027
It's been a pleasure being with you.
WFM. Thank you, Brian.